Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8. Episode 8, Tim.
Yes,
I
sir,
know
Tony.
we say this every episode, like we're so happy to be back.
Well, we are happy to be back. Really,
I know that.
honestly,
That's true.
I enjoy it every week, and I look forward to it. And we're almost teenagers, so
No, it's true, though. I mean, we say the same thing several times, but we do mean it, guys. We're very happy that you're joining us. Very happy for all the positive feedback we get about the show. We do feel like we're doing something right. We are tweaking things here and there to make it better for you. So we are glad to be here, and we're here for episode 8. Episode 8, and we got a good little list going on this week.
yeah, we sure do, Tony. We had Sly's birthday last week. That was pretty huge. I think
Mhm.
everybody on Instagram wished him a happy birthday. So I
Yeah,
hope he's probably still going through the mail, right, and all the messages. But
exactly.
no, like I said, I thought we'd kick off tonight with some of the relationships with Rocky
Yeah,
and with Paulie and maybe with Mickey.
yep, yeah. Well, exactly. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Rambo as well, having his relationships, because we always do touch base on our foundations of our passion for slice films, which is Rocky and Rambo. But yeah, Rocky. Everybody knows the relationship with Rocky and Adrian. That's a no-brainer. But the Rocky Paulie relationship is definitely something that's for the discussion, because I do believe that's part brother, part love and hate, part, I don't get this guy. He's, like he says, you're a jealous, lazy bum. It's coming straight from the heart.
Yeah,
And he meant that. I do believe he meant that in Rocky 3. But we also talked about how he got to know Paulie, which we're hoping to find out in an eventual prequel. But I do believe that the the meat worker there is
yeah,
Rocky
yeah.
loves him like a brother. And siblings fight. Siblings don't agree with each other, and
A
but
crazy brother, wasn't it?
but
You're like
yeah,
a crazy brother. You look
you're
a
like a
crazy
crazy
brother.
brother. You know that you really are.
No.
But he treats him as such, and they're loyal to each other. I mean,
Yeah.
they really are, through thick and thin. They've been there for each other, with each other. And
Hmm.
yeah, everybody loves the breakdown scene in Rocky 4, and when he tells him he'd like to unzip himself and be you,
Yeah.
or even in the scene in Balboa,
Yeah.
which we talked about last week, on how he look at him there.
Oh
He
yeah.
and again, that picture's pretty funny too, because he has the little promos that he's
Yep.
getting paid for.
Oh yeah.
So he's still thinking of himself.
Paulie cut a deal somewhere, right? With the goldenpalace.com on his
Exactly.
hat. So
Exactly. So
he
he's still
probably said,
thinking of
"Hey,
himself.
hey Rocco, I can make some name off your money." And, he
Yeah.
did say that he
Well,
make
he
some
did.
money off
Remember
your
when he
name,
came
right?
out of the restaurant before he
Yeah,
talked to Robert,
yeah.
and he goes, "You can," just like in the original film.
But I mean, you know, I know we're going to be bouncing around a little bit, but back to Rocky. He stuck with Rocky all through, right, the
Mhm,
franchise
mhm,
and the story. So
mhm.
I tend not to say the franchise because I sometimes I think Rocky is just one big long continuous movie to me. You know what I mean?
Kind of is, really.
I
It's a
don't.
saga.
I mean, I know it's Rocky and Rocky 2 and Rocky 3,
Right.
but to
Right.
me, it's just I almost wish there was one DVD where it just continuously played the
It's
whole story because I mean that would be a Sunday afternoon. So
That would be pretty awesome.
you go
But yeah,
back.
you're right. He did. He definitely has some polishing to come up with when it comes to class and
Yeah,
etiquette, and words I'm trying to think of, politically correct or
yeah,
whatever it may be. I mean, he's
yeah,
definitely rough around the edges,
yeah.
but and he has a hard time showing that he cares. I mean, that's the hard part to
Yeah.
siphon out of him. He does care, but it's
Mhm.
trying to get him to show that he cares, or even understand that he cares.
Yep.
I mean, Adrian understood that he cared, but at what cost? Look how she yelled at him in the first film.
Yeah.
I cook for you, I clean for you. So she was frustrated with him too, and
Mhm.
Rocky almost took his head off at that point. Right?
Yeah.
Rocky's had a lot of restraint when it comes to Paulie.
But I mean, through it, like you said, through it thick and thin. I love this picture here. For people listening, we got the picture of Paulie when they get to the training location in Rocky 4,
What
and he's asking Rocky why he rented this dumb location,
are you gonna do?
right?
Grow reindeer?
But I mean, like you said, he stuck with Rocky and Rocky stuck with him, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just a friendship that it just lasted over the years. So
And I think everybody has a friendship like that where, and look, not everybody sees eye to eye on everything. Not
mhm.
everybody is going to agree with all the decisions everybody makes. It's just life.
Yeah,
But to be there for them and always be there for them and be there for each other, and the caring throughout that life is what matters. And that's what he
yeah,
did.
that's
And
right.
he wouldn't, I wouldn't say he wouldn't have made it without Paulie. I mean, if you take Paulie out of the picture, it's a very different movie, but it's also not taking Adrian out, taking Mickey out,
Hmm.
somebody along those lines. But I do believe it would have been a very, very different film if they took Paulie out.
Yeah, that's right. Or didn't have him, continue his character on in the other movies, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, you see him in Rocky 2 and he takes over, his job with Gazzo,
Gazzo, yeah.
right? And breaking bones, that doesn't bother me. You talk to Gazzo, you just so you just always wants, right? So,
Walking around the dock with a snow
mhm.
cone.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
But yeah,
he just
you can't take him out and it won't change it as it did Mickey. I mean, you take Mickey out, it's just
yeah.
a whole different film. And
Well,
obviously just the three of them.
that's right. I mean, but Mickey, you're talking relationships and Rocky, right? So, um, Mickey was so influential to Rocky, right? So he trained him. I mean,
Well, I think, I mean, it's no secret I'm not a big fan of 5,
mhm.
but that scene where he's telling him on how he'll be able to take care of himself,
Yeah,
you know, inside the ring as well as outside, as if that's okay.
yeah,
And I do believe that. I did, the father figure was there. Mickey cared like a father. That's why
yeah,
he protected him in Rocky 3, where he was telling him, "My job was to protect you."
yep,
And Rocky went to him for that protection and went for him for that advice. And just like a father and a son, they butted heads at numerous times, especially in the beginning before they really developed that relationship.
yeah,
I mean, the whole "I've been coming here 6 years" speech,
hmm,
that was before they really got together. And then, when he comes up to the apartment and
yeah.
asks him to be his manager, Rocky wants nothing to do with him,
No,
but he knows he needs something. He knows he can't. He,
yeah,
he knew deep down he couldn't do it by himself.
no. I think you're right. And then the whole scene where Rocky just has to vent, right? He has to get that out. And like you said, if you've known somebody long enough, eventually the relationship it's going to come out. If you guys aren't seeing eye to eye or a couple or whatever, you get that
Hmm.
out and then you just lay all your cards on the table and then
Yeah,
you see Rocky, chase after Mickey,
yeah.
put his arm around him and probably said, "Look, I had to get that out of me and let's just
That's
start
something we
over."
need
And
to know. Sly, if you're
yeah,
listening, that's something we need to know. Let us know what Rocky said to Mickey when he
yeah,
ran out.
absolutely. Yeah, you see him put his arm around Mickey and that's what I want to think that he just said, "Look at Mick, I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah.
Let's, tomorrow morning we start fresh and you're in charge." And then they shake hands, right? And
Yep. Yep.
Rocky gives him the little
He
wave,
goes, "See
and
you
I love
later."
I love the little wave right afterwards that he
Well, the
yells
handshake,
probably.
I think, was, sealing the deal.
Yeah,
This is the
that's right.
contract.
Yeah, that's
This
right.
is the long time ago, men shook hands on contracts,
Right.
and that's what they did.
Well, if you
But
look
he
and I mean, you talked about 5, right? And when George Washington Duke comes up and says to Tommy Gunn, like, I checked with the boxing commission. There's no formal contract with you and Balboa. And Tommy, what does Tommy say? Yeah, just a handshake.
Yep.
Rocky did it that way. You
Yep.
honor it. And he wasn't trying to you can see that he wasn't trying to take money from Tommy. He was trying to protect him, kind of like Mickey did, right?
Kinda like Mickey.
Because
Yeah,
and he
exactly. Well, he
just
was
saw
definitely
this
trying
saw
to
this
take over
kid that
that
was
role.
raw and it made him feel like he was winning again.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, that's the Duke was able to come in and just sort of dangle that carrot and the
Yep.
fancy car and the apartment
Sure.
and that's what Rocky was trying to protect him from.
Protect him from, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so you
Yeah,
could see how Mickey rubbed off on him. I mean,
yeah,
Rocky
sure,
had a heart anyway, but you
yeah,
could see how, I mean, you saw how many times he mentioned Mickey in that movie.
yeah,
When
absolutely
he
right. Yeah,
slipped the jab and, well, everything he was talking to him about, this is what he did.
yeah,
But he, it's funny on how sometimes you don't think about the the deep-seated relationship of what it is
No.
when you're really watching the movie. It was the father figure.
Mhm.
Rocky, obviously's parents were not involved in Rocky's life. They're not even
No.
around, whether they were dead or took off or whatever happened, but they weren't around. And he was at an age where obviously having a father is long gone, so to speak. I
Mhm.
mean, he was pushing 30, like he said, but he, everybody needs some form of father figure in their life up to a certain point.
Yep.
And he got it, and it definitely helped him become a better man, become a better boxer, obviously. But
Mhm.
he took it for what it was worth until three, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I don't wanna keep going back to 5, but he when Tommy Gunn says, "I want you to manage me," and Rocky's like, "Manage?" He goes, "I ain't no manager." The gentleman that owned this place, that was a
Yeah,
manager. That's how important Mickey was to Rocky,
sure. Oh
and
yeah,
Mickey left the gym to Rocky's son, right? So, like I said before, that was his father figure, and I
yeah.
don't think it was anybody question that, that happened.
No, no. And other tough guys have those father figures too, like even our own John J. Rambo.
Yeah, yep,
He had the father figure in Troutman.
that's right.
Colonel Troutman was definitely his father figure.
Sorry, I'm
There he
behind on my
is.
pictures there. There we are. But this that scene there is from Rambo 3 that people are
Uh-huh.
listening. We've got the scene from Rambo 3 where, he's going on a mission and they talk to Rambo and Rambo basically said, I put in my time and my war's over. And so he goes off and of course Troutman wants to talk to him and he says, when are you going to come for full circle? And Rambo says, what are you talking about? He goes, you can hide from the world and you can hide from what you really are, but you're just a full-blooded combat machine, right? So,
Mhm.
and what I liked was how he told him a story about this sculptor. He found this special stone and he brought it home and worked on it for months. And when he was done, he showed it to his friends, and his friends said, he created this amazing sculpture. And the sculptor says, I didn't create anything. I just chipped away the rough edges. And
Yep.
Troutman says, that's what we did with you. We didn't make you this great soldier. We just chipped
Right.
away the rough edges
Right.
and we just fine-tuned you. You were always this full-blooded combat soldier, like you
Yep.
have it in your blood. But I think looking back at First Blood, when we first see Troutman and he's the one that's trying to talk Rambo
Right.
off the ledge, if you will, like before he gets
Yeah.
pushed over the
No, he
edge.
was. Yeah.
He's already it's already escalated to the point where the military's come in, so he's come in to
Mhm.
see if he can not only one talk Rambo down, but two save what possibly could go wrong. And we all know that he was capable of doing whatever he wanted.
Right.
But yeah, Troutman is definitely a figure that is important to Rambo. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, not only I mean, because you got to assume that Rambo went into the military at after high school, 18 years old, if he even
Yeah.
finished high school. And Troutman was probably his first father figure that he had.
Hmm.
Again, we don't
Yeah.
know his backstory. We don't know about, he never mentions it. So, especially with it being, I mean, at the time of First Blood, he was out of the military for 7 years.
Right.
So, Troutman's still there for him
Hmm.
after 7 years removed from the military.
Yeah.
So, he's obviously been there a large part of John's life.
That's
And
right.
he's definitely the father figure. You're absolutely correct about that. And he had other, I mean, he wasn't just the monster out there. He had the other relationships with the young lady Co,
Hmm.
which is I don't really want to use the term. It was his Adrian to Rocky
Right.
because obviously it wasn't as long term and
Yeah.
but I mean it showed that he had a heart and he cared
Yeah.
and he did care for her.
That's right. Well, you know what? And it wasn't obviously wasn't planned. That was his contact, and she helped him. I don't want to say she helped him totally escape, but I mean, she was a big part of it, right? So,
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
but then they got they had the night together, and she was asking him, "I want to go stateside, make a normal life, and maybe I go with you, Rambo." And he's like, "Yeah." And then, I mean, unfortunately, we know what happens to her, and
Yeah.
um, but I think just that scene or that time for Rambo, I mean, he probably never. had that kind of relationship before, right? He wasn't old enough.
No,
He was thrown into the military, thrown
no,
into.
there was all just the camaraderie of the other soldiers,
Mhm.
or a Troutman, or a commanding officer. He
Yeah.
didn't have the relationship or affection of a young lady, or any woman for that
Yeah.
matter. I mean, of any sincere
Mhm.
emotion anyway.
Yep.
He Yeah, he didn't have that in his life. And again, as Rambo, everything's taken away from him. All
Yeah.
his army buddies are taken away, and obviously she was taken away.
Mhm.
So it's you almost wonder. Not, I mean, you almost don't wonder why he is the way he is. Everything he
Well, and that's right.
loves
And
and cares for is taken away from him.
at the end of First Blood, he talks about, like, his buddy getting blown up with the kid comes up to just shine the
The
shoes, and
shine
and he
box, yeah,
blows him up, and he comes back, and he says to Troutman, "I can't get that out of my head. I don't talk to people for days or weeks." And
yeah,
and then you find Rambo in jail, and it's Troutman again who comes
yeah,
out, and it's not really the ideal situation to get him out of jail, to put him back in Vietnam, but I mean, it's
yeah,
Troutman's
exactly.
capable, thinking this guy's capable of it, and at least he's not won't be in prison.
Right,
But like you
right.
said, when Cole gets killed, he's just pushed over the edge again, right? And you see that he just barely starts to build something with a relationship with
Yep.
Troutman, and then with a female, and then she's killed, and offside, he's just gone again. So
Mhm.
it's the psyche of Rambo is pretty delicate, right? Like, I mean, it's just, it never had a chance to be normal.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, because he was so young when he went in the military, and he was programmed at that point that you're right, he didn't have the
Hmm.
chance to be normal,
Right.
so to speak, anyway. But it's funny because I mean, they're such good franchises. They're just both of them
Hmm.
for 40 plus years.
Yeah. Well,
Almost,
the huge franchises, right? And I mean,
yeah,
it's funny you
and they
mentioned
apply to today.
franchises.
It's not like
No.
it's not like you watch them and you're going, oh wow, that did not age well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just watched Rocky 3 the other night, and um, you know, right in the middle of the franchise. But I mean, you're right, Rocky franchise, Rambo franchises.
Great.
Um, on the topic of franchises, though, we thought we would take a look at some other franchises that are big.
And that
Let's
are in
see.
the same boat too. I mean, you play these franchises, and yeah, the cars are going to be dated,
Hmm.
or maybe some of the humor might be dated,
Yeah.
or maybe some of the oversensitive, politically correct stuff will be dated.
Hmm.
Chill out, people. We had skin back then. It's okay.
Well.
But overall, the storyline, the acting, the
Mhm.
action, or whatever it may be that's involved in a franchise still holds up today.
No, and that's right. And you know what? And some of these franchises, like, I don't want to be biased, but we all are. But if you get in Rocky and Rambo, and I don't, I don't look at the cars. I don't know what, if I just get caught up in the series. Like, we'll start with this one. We'll start with Lethal Weapon, right?
Lethal Weapon. There it is. I
I
mean, nobody's
remember.
doing the old, long-haired mullet thing anymore, but
No, but
he pulled it off.
yeah, no, there was just such a great franchise, and the chemistry between Martin Riggs and
Yeah,
Murtaugh, right?
the
So
buddy cop movie. I
yeah,
mean,
they
that's
just,
that's what it is.
Murtaugh was going to retire, and he has to get this, you know, is he a suicidal psycho on the loose, cop? And,
Well,
there's
remember when
just,
he's issued Riggs as a partner, he
yeah.
reads about him, I heard about you and this and that, and he takes the gun, he's got the eyes going,
Hmm. Yeah.
you think he's crazy. He's like, "This
Yeah.
guy's gonna kill himself,"
Yeah. And well, that's one of the lines that I remember. And he says, you get through tomorrow without killing anybody, including yourself,
including
and
yourself.
we'll go from there,
Exactly.
he has him, he even invites him over to his house, right? Meet his
Yep,
family, and I mean, obviously, there's a lot of action in the Lethal Weapon movies, and a
oh,
lot of
yeah.
comedy too, right? And Joe
Yep,
Pesci adds to that. There's another fantastic actor who can do the comedy role, but he plays them. Obviously, we've seen him in the mobs and mobster
sure.
movies, and um,
Oh, he did a
but
fantastic job though with Lethal Weapon. I mean, okay, okay,
oh
okay, okay.
yeah, yeah,
He's all
yeah,
fidgety and stuff.
whatever you need, Leo gets. You get it, right? He goes, when they
He
first
did a
meet him
great
in
job
Lethal
with that.
Weapon 2, right? And he's like,
I think it was either that or 3. I thought it was
no,
3.
it was Lethal
Is
Weapon
it 2?
2. because
Okay.
they're actually assigned, because these guys cause so much trouble. They assign them to watch Leo to get him to the court, right? Because he's
Right.
got information on the mob boss, right? So when they
So
walk
funny.
in, they knock on the door. So they knock on the door, and he says, "Who is it?" And Riggs says, "Police, open up." He goes, "How do I know?" And he goes, "I'll shoot you through the door. You can examine the bullet." So he opens the door, right? He opens the door, and he goes, "What are you doing? Don't you ask for ID?" "Well, let me see some ID." "Shut up." It's just too late now. But
Riggs played. I love the role he played. I really
oh
do.
yeah,
He
yeah.
did
Just
such a
and
great
then
role.
that's what Leo gets is like, "Oh, I get it. Good cop, bad cop." And then Murtaugh turns him and shut up. And he's like, "Oh, bad cop, bad cop." They
Exactly.
just the three of them, and then from there
Yeah.
on out, they're all together for most of the films, right? And they added Chris Rock in there.
Yep. Yep.
But just a great
Very
franchise.
good franchise, and again,
Um,
holds true to today. Stands up today.
yeah, you can put on any Lethal Weapon,
Yep.
and it's great. So the next franchise I want to talk about, this one here, Jurassic Park. They just had another movie come out
Yep.
recently,
Yep.
right?
Dominion was just released about 2 weeks ago, I think, give or
Yeah.
take. Have not seen it. I'm not gonna lie. Haven't seen it yet,
No,
but
we've been we got to broaden our horizons, Tony. We got to start checking out some of the newer films. I love talking Rocky and Rambo, and I'll do
yeah,
it all day
yeah.
long. But
Well, I did
you
see
know,
some others. I mean, I saw Maverick, and I did
yeah,
see the
that's
new
right.
Elvis movie. I
That's
saw the
right.
new Elvis movie,
What'd you
but
think
I
of
haven't
the
seen.
Elvis movie?
Oh, fantastic,
Yeah,
fantastic!
yeah,
And
good.
I've been a really big Elvis fan for a long time.
Hmm.
It was a very very well done job.
No, that's good.
But yeah, Jurassic Park I did not catch yet, but I will. But I will.
Yeah, I
But back
I'll
when in what was that
hmm
93? First one
90,
came out
1993. Yeah.
93. That was about as on the horizon of CGI you could possibly get. I mean, it was about it was first
Hmm.
done pretty much.
Right.
And they also had the animatronics of the dinosaurs,
Hmm.
but they also had the CGI dinosaurs. And it was like nothing you've ever seen. It wasn't like the
No, that's
stop
right.
action movie or anything.
No.
Between that and the surround sound, and then when you first see the T-Rex for the first time, like
Yeah.
holy crap.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it, right? And I think we touched on this in another episode, and I apologize and I can't remember that, but on the set when Spielberg had George Lucas, because those guys were buddies, they were going around showing him some of the stuff, and he was watching
Mhm.
some of the stuff that they were filming. And George says, "Steven, this is unbelievable what you're doing. This is phenomenal what you're doing." And he says, "George, we're doing this because of you. We're
Yeah.
doing this because of what you did with Star Wars." And he goes, "What do you
Yeah.
mean?" He goes, "None of this would be possible if you
Mhm.
didn't bring a Star Wars and the what you did in the 70s, right?" So
Sure.
you're thinking almost 20 years later,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Star Wars came out in '77, so,
77, right?
15
And,
years
and
later,
they did
still
stuff
long
that
enough.
was even nobody had even thought that was possible, right? So
Mm,
when
no.
he looked at that, that's when he went back and he says, "Okay, I'm gonna clean up the Star Wars movies. I'm gonna do them a
Yep.
little bit, add a few things that I couldn't do in the 70s now that I know is possible." But yeah, Jurassic Park. Tell you right here. See this glass of water right here?
Yeah, the water scene. Remember
The
we
water
talked about
scene.
that.
I'll never forget that
You
scene
remember what I
on
told
the
you about
dash.
the bass string?
Yeah, yeah,
That's how
and
we got
that
the little
what, I didn't
perfect.
know that.
Yeah, he got that
And
perfect little, movement every time that I mean, when T-Rex came out for the first time in
mhm,
the original movie, it blew my mind. When you
yeah,
saw his foot just come down by that
yeah,
Jeep, I was
mhm,
like, "Holy crap."
yeah,
And and it got better as it went on. Then it went into Jurassic World, which
mhm,
I did like. I mean, I did like Pratt does a good job.
yeah,
I do like his character, and I love the fact that the last one, which I haven't seen, like I said, brought back the original crew.
mhm,
They brought back Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum and
yeah,
Laura Dern. So it's
mhm,
going to be really cool to see that come kind of full
yeah,
circle. That'll be neat.
that's right. Well, speaking of characters, one of my all-time favorite characters is Dr. Indiana Jones.
Indeed.
Okay? Right? So again, a franchise that is unbelievable. Even the fourth one didn't get, maybe not the best reviews,
Yeah.
but
Well, there's
I
always going
I
to be
still
that
loved it, right?
one. Yeah, there's always going to
Yeah,
be that one
yeah.
in a franchise. Excuse me.
Hmm. But
That kind
Raiders
of
of the
gets
Lost
beat
Ark
up.
everybody remembers the scene with the boulder, right? When he's in there and he turns around and the look, some of the scenes with Harrison Ford and the looks on his face, like Harrison Ford, first of all, he's a legend, right?
Oh yeah.
He's in a Hall of Fame. If I guess is Hall of Famer, is that a correct term for a
Yeah,
legendary
well,
actor,
he's
right?
like,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's he's a legend. He's a
yeah,
legend.
and some of the scenes that he did in those movies, the Temple of Doom. My I actually like Last Crusade. That's my favorite of the franchise.
Well, the
Just
funny part
because
about the
Sean Connery.
films is that they were obviously copied, or not, I shouldn't say copied, but based
Hmm.
on and of the old style of films.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
the old fedora wearing, you
Yep.
know, swashbuckler in the deserts. You get the gold, you get the
Hmm.
jewelry, with the hidden tomb and stuff.
Hmm.
And it
Yep.
wasn't an original story that's been going on since the 30s,
Right.
and they brought it to life with, you know, obviously a lot more stunts and a lot more
Hmm.
color. And but as it goes to show you, you have the story and you have the acting and the good enough director, it'll
Yeah.
hold the test of time.
Oh yeah. Then I saw Last Crusade in the theater, and my friend and I were watching it. And when it starts out, you get the young Indiana Jones, right? So um, and he's getting chased by the guys that are trying to steal the artifact, and he falls in with the
Mm,
lion, right? And that's where Indy finds his whip, right? And he picks the whip up and he crack and he at the lion, and what does he do? He cuts his chin, right? Well, my friend turns to me all excited, screaming his head off, going, "That's how he got the scar on his chin." I'm like, I know. Like, we were like 14 years old, right? 15 years old,
uh,
1989 when that came out.
uh,
And I just remember like what a great thing to go back
yeah.
and show how, he was always like this, right? And then it flashed forward and he's fighting the same guy. And he says, Dr. Jones, the second time I've had to retrieve my artifacts. But
And that's the fun part about the franchises of
mhm,
any franchise, is that
yeah,
they can touch base on previous franchises of
yeah,
why a scar happened, or
hmm,
why he does this or does that, or why they have this in their house, whatever it may
sure.
be.
Yeah,
Any type of little details of things, like, oh wow, that's where he got that from.
yeah.
And that's the fun, cool part about it.
Because
Yeah.
when he comes back, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when he comes
No, you're
back
good.
and he has the artifact, and Marcus says to him, Indy says to Marcus, how long have you been chasing that? He says, all your life, all my life. You know what I mean? So they go back and forth. But again,
Yeah.
this is a franchise that is going to hold up to the test of time, right? It's
Hmm.
never going to, because it goes back to the 30s and the 40s and the
Right.
50s, and right. I mean, that's the way the vehicles were. So it's at the time. They're not trying to pass us off as a
No, no.
2020, right?
And guys like Spielberg know that. You know, they know
Hmm.
what works. They know what it will work. You know, I mean, look, think about it. We just talked Jurassic Park. Now we're talking
Yeah.
Raiders. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guy, you know, since we're on the Spielberg train, might
Yeah.
as well talk about another franchise of his that pretty much put him on the map,
Right.
which is our good old little buddy. Oh,
Oh,
there it
sorry.
is.
Wrong one.
No. You're good. You're good. Good old buddy. Well, he produced that one.
Yeah.
He didn't direct that one, but he did produce it. And
That's right.
again, a timeless movie,
Yep.
a timeless story.
Hmm.
And again, you're going to see the 50s cars. So when it's 2022,
Yeah.
they look a lot older than they did for us in the
Hmm.
80s.
Yeah.
But you could still relate to the storyline. You could still relate to the fun, the comedic value of it, the action value of it. And granted, there was only three. There
Hmm.
wasn't a ton,
No.
but there was enough to keep it around. And you know, they lost its charm, I guess, after three. I never
Hmm.
heard of about a four being talked about.
I did. I mean, well, maybe it was fan base only. Maybe it was the fans that just kept
Uh-huh.
wanting it. Um, I know you're right. I never heard Spielberg
Yeah.
or Michael J. Fox talk about it.
That might have been in time Michael J. Fox got diagnosed with his
Mhm,
Parkinson's too. So
right.
it may be why he pulled out. I don't know.
Yeah. But you get Huey Lewis and the News and soundtrack, and I hear that song, and I immediately
Yep.
think of Back to the Future, right? And
Yep.
the DeLorean, and
And again, you're not gonna, you know, the DeLorean doesn't really hold suit
Mhm.
later on, it looks more like a spaceship, or when they
Yeah.
watch part 2,
Mhm.
they see the years that they're talking about thinking, "Well, that's not the future, that's
Yeah.
behind us."
That's
But,
right.
again, the story and the fun part of the film holds true and
Mhm.
holds on, and
Yeah.
it was so well done, especially the first one. First one was
Yeah.
so well done when he falls out of the tree
Oh,
and
yeah.
they look at his underwear, they keep calling him Calvin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, "Why do you call me Calvin?"
I love, one of my favorite scenes is when he's in the coffee shop and before he meets what is his dad, and he doesn't
Yeah, yeah,
realize it, but he's at the
yeah.
counter and the guy says, "What do you got? What do you want?" And he goes, "Give me a tab." Because I can't give you a tab unless you order something. Well, just give me a Pepsi free. And he's like, "Hey, pal, you want a Pepsi? You got to pay for it." Like he doesn't understand. Like he's
Yeah,
in 1980, 85, right? And he
yeah,
doesn't understand. Like there's no tabs in 1955, and
right. There's no Pepsi
there's no
free.
Pepsi free. And he's thinking, you want a Pepsi, you got to pay for it. And then,
That was like the same
um,
scene too when Biff came in, he said,
yeah,
"Hey, McFly," and they both turn around.
they both turn around, and then his goons with Biff, they look at him and look at this guy. Would you fall off a ship? What do you got, a life jacket on? And he's like, "What are you
He had
talking
that
about?" It's like
he had that
it,
ski vest on.
he
It
had
did
the
look like
vest
a life
on,
preserver.
right? So
That's
just
hysterical. But yeah,
yeah.
Spielberg produced that one, Zemeckis
Mhm.
directed it.
So
Great film, great
where
film.
where we were going before I put up the wrong picture, and don't get me wrong, Back to the Future is great, but where I was going was this,
That's what put him on the map. Jaws.
right?
That's what made
And
me not go in a body of water since 1975.
well, I tell you what, my wife Tina would agree with you, Tony.
Yeah.
We our first house, we bought it and fixed it up. The house we have now, we bought it, had a pool, and that's where she does her swimming. She says
Oh,
there's
yeah.
too many creepy things in the water.
I live right on the Gulf of Mexico pretty
Hmm.
much. I'm about, 3 miles away, and
Yeah,
I barely go in. I go in between my ankles and my knees. I don't ever go deeper than that, but
yeah,
that man is the reason why, and that was one of the all-time greatest movies I've ever seen.
hmm
It follows the filmmaking 101
hmm
by the letter,
yeah,
from foreshadowing to denouement. Everything that they do in that film is just phenomenal the way it was
yeah.
done, and it really throws back to a Hitchcock type of horror movie. And oddly enough, it wasn't intended, but you didn't see the shark for 3/4 of the movie
That's right.
because it wasn't working for 3/4 of the movie.
Hmm.
They couldn't get it to work properly.
Hmm.
But Spielberg said he liked the way it was because it was almost like Hitchcock. Hitchcock gave an interview one time and he said, shock value is one thing, but suspense is another.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I show Tim sitting here right now, and I show you next scene that I put a bomb under his chair,
Hmm.
and I show you Tim and I talking, and the bomb's under his chair, and you're like, "Come on, man, go, 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 get out of there! Oh my God, it's gonna blow up!" And you're freaking out. But if you and I are just talking, and all of a sudden you just blow up, that
Hmm.
gives you a shock factor for 2 seconds, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So that kind of what it was with Jaws, where the shark wasn't working for so long. You were anticipating seeing him, you didn't see him, you saw people getting pulled under the water. So it definitely added to that shock value towards the end of the film. But
Hmm.
probably one of my top three favorite films. I mean, I just love it. Love it, love it.
Yeah.
Now the sequels, it's a franchise. We'll put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jaws. Is it safe to say Jaws 2 was okay?
Jaws 2 wasn't bad. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't obviously was never going to have the for very few sequels
No.
are as good
Yeah.
or better than the first, but it
Hmm.
was watchable. It was decent. But
Right.
once you got to the 3 and 4, that was just horrible.
Yeah.
But again, it's a
Well,
franchise. I mean, it kept
no,
going.
that's
They
right.
just kept trying to ride that money shark,
Yeah, that's
keep
right.
it going the whole way, which you can't always do. It's
Hmm.
just that simple. Can't always
Hmm.
do it. But it
Well,
did work for a time.
yeah, another franchise, and the first one was phenomenal. The second one was, I thought, I don't say as good, but pretty close.
Oh,
Beverly
agreed.
Hills Cop, right?
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I saw, so Beverly Hills Cop came out in 1984.
Yep.
We rented it, and I don't really think my dad knew what we had here. I was 11 years old when I
Mhm.
watched Beverly Hills Cop. I don't think I should have been watching Beverly Hills Cop
Probably
because
not
anybody
really at
that's seen
11. No.
this, um, it's pretty colorful language.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what I
you
mean?
got Eddie Murphy, and that was at Eddie
Yeah,
Murphy at his heyday.
right,
You know, Beverly Hills Cop 2, he was at mega stardom.
right.
So, yeah, his language
Yeah.
is not the cleanest, but, yeah, I have to agree with you. 2 was as good, if not a
Mhm.
notch better than the first one.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you got the
It's like the
soundtrack.
Lethal Weapon, right? Like it's the buddy cop, the comedy, action. Now this is a little more comedy than
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon, but you know, I will never ever forget, you know, them carrying him out and throwing him through the window, and then he gets arrested, and he was thinking, you know, what the I can't use the language on here,
Yeah.
but we all remember the movie, right? And they
Yep.
arrest him,
Yep.
the banana on the tailpipe, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
He's so funny.
um
Now I know
unbelievable.
you know this being a Sly fan. You
Mhm.
know he was offered that role of Axel Foley
Yeah.
before Eddie Murphy, and it was
Mhm.
supposed to be a, serious cop film. It wasn't supposed
Mhm.
to be a comedy,
Right.
and it was changed, obviously, when they gave it to Eddie Murphy,
Right.
which everything worked out for the better for Eddie Murphy
Mhm.
and for the Beverly Hills Cop franchise.
Yeah.
But, I could see Sly doing it, though. I could see him getting in there and making the smart aleck comments
Yeah.
and
Well,
doing what he's doing.
maybe later on, you know, that he passed it, and maybe that's why he did Tango and Cash.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
It was
But it
sort of
was a good
the
film.
his buddy cop movie. But Beverly Hills Cop, my goodness, like just such a great movie, right? The great franchise. So
It was a great film. I mean, 3 was definitely starting to slip. You know,
yeah.
that definitely went downhill a little bit, but 2, like you said, was at
Mhm.
least as good, if not better, than the
Right.
first, and that of course, their soundtrack went mega stardom.
Oh
You know, the
yeah.
soundtrack
Yeah.
went huge with the Neutron Dance and
Mhm.
Shakedown and all those songs in there. It was good. It was a good film. I like that series.
Yeah. Where
So
we
the
go?
next one we got coming up is Mr. Bruce Willis with Die Hard.
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, let's get this out of the way.
Yep.
Everybody, the debate is still on.
Yeah,
Die
we
Hard.
did this one time. We know what Tim and I think.
Christmas movie, yes or no, Tony?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I
Yes, it
think
is.
because listen, guys, he's going to LA to a Christmas party, right? It's Christmas time.
Yep.
I put it in as a Christmas movie. So,
Yeah,
boom, there we are.
that's it.
Anybody that feels otherwise, message us and let us know why. We're going to
Well,
tell
you don't
you
think it's a
yeah,
Christmas
why
movie.
you
Yeah,
don't think it's a
exactly.
Christmas movie, but a
But it
lot of
is, and it's a
action,
fun
right?
and it's a fun movie. You know, he's got
Mhm.
that great little quirky sarcasm to his
Yeah.
role, and he's oh, come out to the coast, have a good time. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean a ton of action in this one, right?
Oh
So
goodness, and
and
and the more they made, the more action
mhm,
you got. I mean,
that's right.
Die Hard
Right.
2 was more, 3 was. I liked
Yeah.
all of them. I mean, we were
Yeah.
just saying on how some of them don't live up to the first one or worse.
Mhm.
I think all of them are. I mean, Die Hard, of course, is always going to hold a special part,
Mhm. Mhm.
but the others are just right. They're not. They didn't decline like some of the other franchises.
Yeah, and
Beverly Hills Cop.
they added great actors to
Yeah,
support Bruce Willis, right?
yeah,
And this was these were huge movies, right? The Die
yeah.
Hard franchise. So another one you can just throw on Sunday afternoon, right? And just put
And
on
again,
and have a great time.
has no time
Nope.
period. It
Mhm.
doesn't look 80s, it doesn't look 2000s, it doesn't.
Nope.
It's just, a cop blow 'em up action film, so it's
Mhm.
always a good one there. I mean, always I always enjoy it. I always enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like you said, whenever it's on, I'll watch it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of blowing things up, I thought we would talk about this franchise,
Yep, Mr.
right?
Arnold.
Another massive franchise, right?
And again, the second one being as good, if not better than the first.
Mhm. Right.
In a lot of people's opinions, and mostly the box office. I
Right.
mean, the biggest one of the group.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
it was huge,
Mhm.
huge, and it was just a good film. And then the last film, I'm assuming everybody saw already, so it's not
Mhm.
like we're giving away hints here. Great to see him come back,
Yeah.
and great to see Sarah Connor come back.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I loved how they he was older, and I thought to myself, we watched the trailer, and a friend of mine says, "I'm not gonna go see that. Look at him, he's old." But if you watch it, he explains that his skin aged, right?
Right, right.
And it makes him look like an older,
Yep,
Terminator, right? So,
yep.
that's how they played that in. And I love the fact that, you find him in the woods, he's chopping wood, and she says, "This is Carl," and Sarah Connor's like, "I am not calling you Carl. And he's just trying to pretend he's got this little normal life, right?
Yeah.
And just a great franchise. But Terminator, Terminator and Terminator 2 are huge, right? So you get the
Massive.
motorcycle and you get the
Massive.
leather jacket and the glasses, right? So I
Right,
watched
well,
an
again,
article.
tell me, like you just said with Rocky, who doesn't know
Hmm.
Rocky? Who doesn't you put that scene, that picture up of
Hmm.
Arnold with the glasses and the leather
Yep.
jacket. Who doesn't know that that's the Terminator?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you could have just seen the first one.
Hmm.
Maybe you didn't even see any of them, but you
That's right.
can't tell me that you don't know that's Terminator.
No. And there was a interview one time when they were filming, I believe it was the Terminator 4. So, they had Arnold was on set and he come out of his trailer full of like leather jacket, glasses on, and there was somebody that was, you have all kinds of people working on set, and somebody screams, "Now we're effing filming Terminator." Right? Like as soon as they saw him walk by,
Yeah,
and it was just they just
this is the
loved it,
real
and people
deal.
people just cheered on set, and
Sure,
they knew it was go time, right? So
that's awesome.
another great franchise. So uh okay, where are we going here? Mission Impossible?
Tom Cruise, who's just
Yeah,
hit the $1 billion mark with Maverick, making a boatload of money from
right.
that movie, did it again with Mission Impossible here. And I know
Another
there's another one
massive,
coming out. There's
right.
another one coming out, which is a two-part film,
Hmm.
part one and two. But these movies, again, they're they're timeless. They're
Hmm.
espionage, they're
Hmm.
action, they're taking place in Prague and Russia and
Hmm.
Paris and wherever they are, and they're just high-end cars and pretty ladies and diamonds and blowing things up, and
Hmm.
doesn't matter what year it is. It's just an
No,
action-packed good story. Tom Cruise is always running or jumping off of something, so it's that's a
right. And how
plus.
many how many times you watch Mission Impossible and you get lost in the story and you can't remember who's on what side, and
Yeah,
you really have to pay attention. It's one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
movies, you're in the theater, you're not going out to get more popcorn, or you don't
Mm,
want to go to the washroom. If you want to stay in your seat, it's just full of action. If you miss
yeah,
something, it's like, wait a minute, who, that guy was with who, and
yeah.
it's almost like that's typical spy movie, right? So
That's exactly. That's a typical spy movie. You got the double spy, you got
yeah,
the
triple
two
spies, and
sides, triple spies, and a
yeah,
lot of the younger people don't know, but that was based off of a TV show,
yeah,
Mission
that's right.
Impossible,
Hmm.
which was in the '60s,
Hmm.
early '70s, and the show was the same concept,
Hmm.
a different episode every week, and obviously
Hmm.
not as art filled and blow them up as the films you see, but it was taken off of that, and and obviously holds up still today.
Yeah.
Great films.
What did
Great
they
film.
say? This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Yep, yep,
You know?
and you just see it just blow up.
Yeah.
And then
And then
that music,
yeah, and then he
even
always
though you
like, it depends on what he had. Like he would throw it out a window because it was
yep,
gonna explode. There's no evidence of the message because they were
yep,
gonna
no
deny
evidence of the
everything, right?
mission. No
Right.
evidence of the
No, no,
mission.
that's right. But we've talked. We started it with Rocky and Rambo, the franchises, and we've gone through some of them. Like I said, we didn't. This wasn't a top 10. This
No,
was just great franchises that hold up.
right, and there's a
Um,
lot of franchises we didn't talk about. I mean, we didn't talk about
mhm,
Star Wars, which is probably
mhm,
one of the bigger ones of the
mhm.
bunch. We didn't talk about a lot of Star Trek. We
You know,
didn't There's a lot of franchises we did not touch base on.
and there's
It
a
doesn't
there's a
mean we
reason
didn't
for
think
that.
about them.
There's a reason for that. Like Star Wars and Batman, because later on, a few episodes in, we are going to, you know, we just didn't feel we wanted to brush by Star Wars and brush by the Batman.
They're too big.
We're gonna break down those on a show, and we might just go all Star Wars for a show or all Batman,
Right,
just because
right.
they're so big, right? But the last franchise I want to talk about kind of wraps it up nicely and brings us
Full
back
circle
with
here.
Sly, is one of my favorites, Expendables, right?
Yep, there it
Absolutely
is.
love not only the posters, but I love the movies and I love the whole concept.
Yep.
This was my when he announced this, Tony. This was my I was like, I got treated going back to the 80s with everybody. Like
Right.
he brought everybody from the 80s and he
He did,
says,
like we said that last
hop
episode,
in.
like, they're
Yeah.
probably sitting around the bar at Sly's house or something or wherever, "Hey, why don't we do a film together? All of us have
Yeah.
done action films, and
Hmm.
why haven't we done a film together?" And there's
Yeah.
still so many people that he could have
Hmm.
asked, and there was scheduling conflicts with people. There were people that the studio didn't wanna pay, this
Hmm.
much. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that have not been in these roles,
Hmm.
but overall, he's touched base on almost all of them.
Right. And you've got old action stars, you've got new action stars, right?
Yep.
You've got a great storyline too. Aging action stars, even the team at Expendables 2, he
Yeah.
tries to replace them, right? And you get Chuck Norris in there, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger in there, Bruce Willis, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, Ronda Rousey,
Ronda
you
Rousey,
know,
yeah, I mean, Harrison
Jean-Claude
Ford
Van Damme,
Harrison Ford, Mickey
eh,
Rourke,
yeah,
Antonio Banderas.
Mel Gibson,
You could
right?
just keep going, man.
Unbelievable. If and Sly put this on his Instagram, a picture, and I think it was from Expendables 3. They were doing the premiere, and just a shot of all them together, and you're thinking, holy,
Right.
that's like that's my childhood right there, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's it's unbelievable. The action, there's a little bit of comedy in it, but
Sure.
mostly
Yeah, you
it's
got the one-liners and a little,
yeah,
guy camaraderie ribbon here and there,
yep,
challenging each other and
hmm,
stuff. And the storyline is what it is. But
hmm.
guys, take these movies for what they are.
Oh yeah,
They're not, I mean, they're not suspense films that,
hmm.
they're action-packed
No,
movies. They're
they're
just
not. You know what?
blow
They're
them up.
not. I think that he knows, these aren't going to win Academy Awards. I know that, and you know that. But it's a hell of a good time, right?
That's
So
it.
I just
2
a
hours
quick
of fun.
quick note on the Expendables. When the Expendables 2 was coming out, they had a contest. I don't have the Facebook. I didn't have Facebook. My wife had it. So there was a contest that you could win tickets to the premiere, but you had to like and share this,
Oh,
the
okay.
post. So
Right.
I went on her Facebook. I logged in. I submitted the entry, and she thought she had got hacked because it just kept coming up. Strap on your artillery, get ready for one more ride. And she's like, "What the hell is all this guns and ammo and blowing stuff up on
What
my
have I
inner?"
done?
And she goes, "I don't remember clicking on this." So I had to come clean and tell her that I entered her into a
That's
Expendables
great.
contest. So maybe if she would have won, she probably would have punished me by not taking me to the premiere. But
That would've been funny.
I had to, like I said, I came clean pretty quick and told her. I said that was me. She goes,
Yeah.
"Get your own Facebook then." So I'm working on Facebook. I don't understand it. I
I'll
know it's
take
been
one social
longer.
media at a time. I'm good.
Yeah. So
But
nope.
yeah, definitely check them out. And obviously, everybody knows Expendable 4 is coming out
Yeah.
relatively soon. We've
Yeah.
heard different dates. We've heard fall. We've heard spring.
Yeah.
We've heard November.
Nothing.
We've heard Christmas time, and we've heard
Well,
spring.
you
So
know what?
we'll see.
I, I know he's got Samaritan coming out this year, and
Mhm.
supposedly he's got Expendables, and it keeps getting pushed, but for good reason. We know he's been very busy, and for good reason. I think you know why, because you went and got Paramount Plus. Because right
Yes,
here,
I did. There it
I got
is.
my copy here. I've never bought a TV guide in my life. I felt that I had to buy this one just because of who's on it. So Tulsa King, I think we're all looking forward
Very much.
to this show,
Yeah,
right?
very much so. But yeah, again, guys, this is not a list of 1 to 10. I
No.
know we Tim and I both know we've left out a variety of franchises that were
Hmm.
not snubbed by any reason.
No.
When we talked about it, these were the 10 we came up with.
Yeah.
We'll do another episode on another franchise, topic again, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about the ones we haven't.
Yep.
But other than that, that's the ones we got there. And I believe we have some trivia. We have trivia this week.
Yeah, but before we get into the trivia, I would just like to say that I am man enough to say that Tony kicked my ass last week on the trivia.
Kind of doesn't count
Um,
though. You had the same questions I
no,
did.
I
So
know, but you got the win. I'm gonna get us a little scoreboard or a trophy or
yeah,
something.
we'll have
But
to get something up there. That'll be fun.
definitely, if we started with Sly's birthday and we did Sly trivia, Tony the Stallion is 1-0. So But
This
here we
week
go.
we can't have the same questions because we
No,
have
we
different
won't have the
topics.
same questions, but here I get my little trivia here,
Trivia
and
night. There it is. Right straight from
I love it.
Blockbuster.
Yep. Oh God, I miss Blockbuster. Anyways, all right, you're up. Go
All right.
ahead.
I'll
You
go
want to?
first.
I thought maybe we'll just go bounce back and forth, question for
Sure.
question this time.
Sure, why
Okay.
not?
All right. Instead of
All right.
making me look bad all at
So
once.
I have a Raiders of the Lost Ark one, which
Oh,
is I believe kind of easy.
okay.
Maybe it's not. We'll find
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Who was famously offered the role of Indiana Jones before Harrison Ford?
Tom Selleck.
That is correct.
I'm
Correct.
I'm
Tom
a pretty big
Selleck.
Tom Selleck fan, and obviously,
I was so Magnum PI back in the day. It
yeah.
wasn't even funny.
Well, and not only that, Blue Bloods is one of my favorite TV
See, I
shows.
haven't. I got to start watching
See,
that. I have
Tony.
not
Oh my
watched that.
God, it's God. They're 9 seasons in, man.
Is it? I'll have to
You know
start
what?
watching it because
He
Gina had mentioned to me about watching it.
and because the fact that he's older, so
Sure.
plays commissioner of New York.
A little more of a
His
patriarch.
daughter is assistant district attorney. His son
Mhm.
is a detective. His other son is a
Yeah,
cop. His dad is the former police commissioner. Anybody
I
that
gotta
hasn't
check it
seen
out.
Blue Bloods,
Yeah, but back
I'm
in the
telling you,
day, I'll be brave enough
yeah,
one day where I'll give you a picture to post and show you my Magnum years.
yeah. Oh,
But it's pretty interesting. But yeah, Tom
Gina,
Selleck was offered that.
Gina, if you're watching, send me that picture. That's a must. I gotta see that. So
I might have to
no, yeah.
talk to Mr. Stallion
Anyways,
about that.
that's a great movie. Or sorry, franchise. And but anyways, the long I guess the long answer is Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. So you
Yeah.
got that one. So
Yep.
1-0.
Okay. Jurassic Park. How about we do a Jurassic Park
Ooh,
question for you?
okay.
Okay. So in Jurassic Park, I'm gonna be easy on you. I'm gonna go with the first one.
Okay.
How did they say they cloned the dinosaurs
How
on
they
the
clone
island?
them?
How they
The
cloned them?
the DNA from the mosquito.
No,
No?
no. They use frog DNA.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna go back to
Now I'm
1993 to
gonna have to
watch
go
that.
watch it
But yeah,
now.
they use frog DNA to clone the dinosaurs. So
Oh, you're gonna win this week then, because the
well,
rest of
yeah.
these are not that hard.
I'm just telling you right now, I'm gonna pick C on Mission Impossible because I have seen the Mission Impossible movies,
Yeah.
but it's been a bit. And
I
anyways,
went
go ahead.
kinda easy on a lot
All
of
right.
these. It was hard to find some questions, but anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Beverly Hills Cop. This one is teetering. Easy,
Okay.
hard. It could go
Okay.
either way for you. What is the name of Axel Foley's boss?
Axel Foley's boss.
And I don't need his
Yeah.
first name.
Okay, just one sec. Oh my goodness. I can see him screaming at him.
Yeah, that's how come I knew it
Oh,
too.
I could just see him. I could just see him
I heard
screaming
him
at him.
saying it.
I can see people in the chat right now just throwing the answer up right
Yeah.
now. Oh my God,
I'll
I
have to
can
do a
see it.
Jeopardy timer or something
Yeah,
with this.
really, eh? Do we have a time limit on this? Oh God, I can't even remember if it's a lieutenant or captain. I know I could see him. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. It's so
Ooh.
easy. I can see him screaming
Oh,
at him too.
there might be a chance then if you don't get this
Yeah.
because I didn't get
Yeah.
one. So we're good.
Oh, I'm not gonna come up with something.
Okay.
Just a minute, one sec. No, I could just see him swearing so much
Yeah.
and actually just says, a boss,
Yeah.
because I'm drawing a blank.
Inspector Todd.
Inspector Todd. I'm so mad at myself.
Remember Paul Reisner?
Yeah,
Reiser?
yeah. This is not my
Inspector
locker.
Todd. This is Inspector Todd. Didn't I say
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Remember when he comes in and he goes because he stole the truckload of cigarettes and he just freaks on him
Yeah.
and Paul Reiser's behind him and he goes, I told you, because this is none of your business, because this is not my
You know
locker.
he's yelling at him.
Inspector Todd, right?
But yeah,
Oh, that's
Inspector Todd. Okay, so
such a good question.
we're at let's see here. You got Indy. Okay, so go ahead. Your question.
All right, so Back to the Future. Okay.
Okay.
I got two questions for you. So this is
Okay.
yeah, okay. So first one, what does Marty always say when things get difficult?
What does he always say?
What does he always say? What does he always say to Doc Brown when things are getting difficult?
Oh man, you got good ones this week.
Mhm.
I know Doc Brown always says "Great Scott."
Yeah.
What does Marty say?
And so when Doc Brown would say, we have to get, you know, 1.25 gigawatts, and what's Marty's kind of
Yeah,
quote through the whole franchise?
I can't think of it. I know as soon as you say it, I'm going to know it.
Yeah.
I can't think of it though. What's his? Give me a couple more seconds.
Yeah, he'll tell them that, like, you can't meet anybody because it's going to alter the future, or you can't interfere
I
with
can see him
anything.
saying it because I know he says it at the end too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to. Oh, I'm old for two now. I don't
Oh,
know.
really? So Marty will say, "That's heavy,"
I had no idea.
and Doc will say,
I don't-
Why is this heavy reference? Is it some kind of problem with the
Is it a
Earth's
weight
gravitational
problem?
pull?" Yeah. So that's what Marty will always
Oh, I'm
say.
old for
Whoa,
two.
that's
This is
heavy.
not good. This is
All
not
right.
good.
So go ahead.
You're one
Okay,
for.
wait. I got one more question, so you can
That's
redeem
right. It was a
yourself right here.
two-parter. I get a
Okay,
half a
so
point.
yeah, we find when Marty goes back to 1955, the first place
Uh-huh.
he goes into is the malt shop, or the
Right.
hangout, I guess, the
Right.
coffee shop, I guess. So he bumps into Biff, he bumps into his dad.
Mhm.
What is the name of the janitor that will be mayor one day?
Oh, Gordy.
Gordy
Gordy. Oh, Gordy. Thompson?
Gordy Wilson.
Wilson. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll give you half a point for
I
that
got a
one.
quarter of a point.
Yeah, quarter of a point. So you're 0.25.
There
Anybody
you go.
keeping
Point two
score
five
here?
to one.
All right. So
All right. So I have
tough,
Mission
tough
Impossible.
questions this week.
They are. You got
Yeah,
good ones this week.
yeah.
All right, Mission Impossible. Here we go.
Hmm.
This one's fairly easy because I know
Okay.
Mission Impossible is almost
Oh
impossible
my
to
God,
answer all their trivia.
I could probably be watching Mission Impossible and get this
It's
wrong.
just between all their places they
Yeah,
film and all that.
yeah.
But anyway, so what does IMF stand for?
IMF.
That was their
Mm,
department, I guess you
yeah.
could say, or division.
I'm gonna say it's International. Jesus, International something International Federation, but I can't remember them. I think I'm gonna get that wrong too. But it's IMF, right?
IMF.
Yeah, International. I don't know.
Give up.
Yeah, I give up.
The Impossible Mission Force.
And see, I was way off. That's a hard question. Did anybody in the
Guys, look
chat
how
get that?
bad we are.
Wow. This is
It's
these are
one. It's one to a quarter.
either the well, it's wow. Anyway,
All right. So
we
number
watch.
three. What do I got?
Okay.
Hopefully, I got something I can answer.
All right. Terminator.
Okay. Well.
Terminator. And I'm not going to ask you who played the Terminator. That would be
Okay.
too easy. So
Darn.
when we first see the Terminator, what day? What's the date that he
Oh
arrives
God.
in LA?
Oh jeez. I have no clue. December 8th, 1984. I have no idea.
May 12th, 1984,
Uh,
1:52 a.m.
I would have never known that. I knew it was 1984.
Yeah,
Do I get another quarter?
You get it? I'll give you a quarter for the year, but that's really pushing it. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
still the only reason I'm doing that is because I'm still up by a half a point.
you're
So
up by half right now.
that's why I'm giving you the
And there's
quarter.
there's two questions left for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Lethal Weapon.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I
Good?
love them. Bring it.
Okay.
Bring it.
Remember Lethal Weapon 3 where they're running on the ice and the NHL teams are playing?
Yep.
What teams are playing?
Obviously, LA Kings
Okay.
and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yep, you got it.
The funny thing
You got
is, they didn't actually use the Toronto Maple Leafs logo. I believe they used the Toronto Marbles
Yeah,
because
they
it
did.
must
They
have
said
been.
that
It must have been a licensing. I don't know
licensing
why.
issue.
You would think
Yeah.
that the NHL would be all over it.
Well, especially
But
by then because that was Lethal Weapon 3.
yeah,
So it wasn't like it was in the
no.
beginning.
And you know
Still.
what? I would have thought because they're at the Staples Center and they're at a Kings game that they would be definitely like, yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I never found out why, but it really bugged me that they, as a hockey fan, that they didn't use the sweaters. Let's get that out of the way first.
Yep,
They're not
sweaters. I know
jerseys.
you call them sweaters. See, that was the
Joanne,
one I knew you were
Joanne,
going to
and
know.
will agree with me. My friend from BC.
That was the one I knew you were going to get. I knew there was no
Yeah,
doubt in my mind you were getting that one. So,
yeah,
all right. So it's 2.5.
2.5.
Half is
No, oh
generous.
yeah, I'm killing you this week. So what do I
Generous
have
half.
any? Do I have any left here? Okay, Jaws.
Okay, this one,
Okay,
lock.
if you don't get this one, let me see my notes
This
here.
one's a lock. This is one of my favorite movies. I will be very surprised if I don't get this.
Okay, so I've got 2 questions for Jaws, so you can redeem yourself right here. You can
Oh, I
take
get
the
2
lead, Tony.
points?
You can take the lead. Yep, I'm gonna.
Oh, all right. All right, I'm ready.
That's the Canadian in me, right? So,
Let's go.
what is the name of the boat that they go out on to find the shark?
That would be the orca.
Yeah, boom. See, just like that, you're back.
Just like that.
Okay, that was the easy one. All right, the second question, the second Jaws question I have. So, after everybody seems like everybody and their dog is out catching sharks and out on the water because they, the reward money.
Yep.
So these fishermen get the shark, and the reporters are there, and the mayor's all doing the press, and they're gonna open it up. And I'm sorry, so the Jaws movie? What's not the scientist that they bring in? What's his name?
Hooper?
Yeah. So what he said, look, this is not the shark. And he goes,
Right.
yeah, this is the shark. What kind of shark does he say they caught?
Well, he says it's a tiger fish.
Oh, Tony, boom,
And
you're
then,
right back
and
in
then
there.
wait, this is a tiger fish, and
Yeah.
the other guy says, "Oh, what is that?" But yeah, tiger.
Yeah, boom. Look at that. Good one, Stallion. Okay, you're right back in it. I think you took the lead there. There you
No,
go.
we'll give away a quarter. We'll give away a quarter. Okay, so Expendables, which I'm gonna get, but that's okay. I'm good with that.
Mhm.
Okay, so we know Dolph Lundgren and Stallone were in Rocky 4 too.
Mhm.
Okay, there's 2 other group actors. There may be more. The 2 I found first that also have been in other films besides Expendables together.
Mhm.
What 2 actors were in another film together? And what were the 2 actors? What were the film? Now there's 2 sets that I came up with.
2 sets. Okay.
Yeah. So these 2 actors were in this film.
Okay.
These 2 actors were in that film.
Okay. So is it Sly you mean, or just anybody?
No, just anybody in the Expendables world.
Okay. So one was Sylvester Stallone and Antonio Banderas were in Assassins.
Yep.
Okay. Sylvester Stallone and Eric Roberts were in The Specialist together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And let me think here. What's the other one? There's another one.
I had 2 particularly written down, but those are correct answers.
Yeah. Okay.
They're correct answers. They're correct. But I had 2 that I wrote down because I knew about those as well.
Yeah. They were the easy ones, I guess. I guess I went to the easy ones.
Yeah, the two more difficult ones were Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts. Were in a movie called The Pope of Greenwich Village, which is a very little known film. And then Terry Crews and Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Were in The Longest Yard.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That you know what? And the funny thing is, I keep bugging you about the Longest Yard sequel, so should have known that, right? So
I know. I just saw that too. So
yeah.
But other than that, but that was it. So yeah, you redeemed yourself. You kicked my butt this week.
I wouldn't say kick. I just sneaked her in there. We'll go with that. So no,
they were tough this week.
Yeah, they were really fun. Fun just because we opened it up and we weren't just talking Sly, but like I said, as a good Canadian boy here, I'm going to give you one more shot because I ordered my copy of the Rocky trivia book. Right
there it is.
Rocco, great book in here, great questions. So I thought just for fun
from you, Rocco, I will.
I thought I'd just throw one more in. I know we weren't going to do
sure. Why not?
Total curveball, right? So I'm gonna look through the book here real quick and pick out a good one. I think we'll go all the way back to Rocky. All right.
Okay.
So this is for the Stallion. This is for all the marbles.
It's for all the marbles. Double or nothing.
Yeah. What is Rocky's record going into the fight with Apollo?
Oh, that's a good question. Going into the fight with Apollo.
Going into the fight with Apollo, they're looking in the book, and I think they mention it. I think it's Jurgens that mentions it.
Yeah, I don't know
Anyways,
that. I don't know it going into the fight with Apollo because I knew his record overall come Balboa,
yeah.
but I don't know it going into the fight with Apollo.
Okay,
50,
so
50. No, it would be 50. It would be 43 and 26. I don't know.
you know what? You're actually pretty close. I like that dramatic. You thought you nailed it. You know what? You were very close. His record going into Apollo was 44-20. He had lost 20
okay.
fights. Because they mentioned it when he walks up into the ring. They said he's lost 20 fights, but I thought I'd just throw a curveball in there, and
you did.
That's a great book.
Yeah, his
from
overall
Rocco.
record come Balboa.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry. 57-23 and one draw.
And one draw. Yeah. And who was the draw?
Who was the draw? Mr. Hulk Hogan. Well, Thunderlips.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Mr. Draw.
I don't know if that counts, but
anyways, you know what? Another fun evening. Wrapped up with some trivia. So
good time as always.
You
And
know, the franchise
the trivia. We don't, we don't care if we get the answers right or not. It's
and then
it's
you know what?
for fun.
Like I said, this whole show is based on you hanging out with your buddies. You go and see a movie, and you challenge. What line was this, and what would he say? And
do you know how many times I played around the golf with my buddies? We don't go 3 holes without quoting a movie of some kind, whether it be Caddyshack or A Few Good Men or
that's
whatever.
Right. I can't believe I couldn't get Inspector Todd. It's just because I can see him screaming at him so much, right? So, but
next week I'll get harder ones because you got me good this week.
Yeah,
actually,
no, that was fun.
Speaking of in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be on a show in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Episode 12 of the podcast, aren't we?
Yeah, episode 12 of It's a Long Road podcast. So, like I said before, the Round 14 podcast is now available on the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network. I got through it. I didn't even look at the notes that time. But no, we're on the network, so you can listen to our audio on iTunes and Apple Music, wherever you guys get your downloads from. Ryan had us on the Long Road podcast, so Tony and I got to break down. Actually, it was quite an honor. We got to finish out First Blood, right?
It was cool. We got to finish out First Blood, and we also got to finish out the first season of his podcast, and it was fun. We dissected the ending of First Blood, talked about the scene, talked about the emotions, talked about the directing. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. He has a good podcast.
Yeah, and like Tony said, we got to come in right where Rambo blew up the gas station.
Yep.
And then he's got Tizo pinned down on top of the police station, and then the whole
goes from there.
I would say dramatic scene at the end with him and Trautman, but it kind of ties in nicely to this episode that the relationship with Trautman, right? So
there you go. Exactly.
It just ties in nicely. So again, check us out on that network, and check us out on YouTube. All our episodes are up. If you haven't watched, if you need to catch up, and follow us on Instagram, you can find Tony,
please,
at
Stallion22 Tony.
Right, 22. Why 22? Because
I started wearing 22 because of Mr. Stallone and also Mr. Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, so two amazing people that wore that number, and that's a great
in school sports and high school sports and college sports.
Yeah,
it's fun. I like my favorite number.
Yeah, so check him out. He's got some awesome posts. I usually take some of his and put them on the Round 14 just because they're so good.
You have to, of course.
You find me at Tim Wistard. Not as exciting, but that's where I am. And you know what, Tony?
The Wild Canuck.
Wild Canuck. So I got my Jays cap on here. So it's an up and down season as Jays fans goes, but that's the way it. We're not the Yankees.
It's only halfway there.
We haven't got the payroll of the Yankees, but as long as you make the playoffs, it's a whole new season. But Tony, this was awesome. I had a great time.
Good time as always, my friend.
All
Thanks
right, guys.
for watching, everybody. Hope to see you all next week.
Yeah.
Good night.
We'll see you.